You know that feeling when a relationship ends and you just feel stuck? Not just sad, but kind of frozen in time. Well, today, we're going to look at a story that goes way beyond the big, dramatic breakup scenes we always see in movies. We're diving into the quiet, real, and often invisible journey of healing and the powerful lesson that comes with finally letting go.
It's a huge question, right? One so many of us have asked. We tend to imagine healing is like crossing some big finish line. But what if it's not a destination at all? What if it's something much quieter? A slow, gradual change. Let's see how that plays out.
So, our story starts where a lot of these stories do, in the aftermath. For a guy named Ayaan, it felt like the entire world had just stopped spinning. He was stuck, just living in the echo of yesterday, a time when everything felt complete.
But of course it didn't. The world just kept on turning, the sun kept rising and setting, even when his own personal world felt like it was on pause.
And that's the tough part, isn't it? Time doesn't wait around for us to feel ready. It just keeps moving, and it kind of drags us along with it, whether we like it or not.
The sharp, initial sting of the pain, well, it started to dull a little bit, but that heavy weight was definitely still there. The seasons were changing all around him.
And just like that, spring came around again. A whole year. A full cycle of seasons had passed. He'd lived an entire year of moments without the one person he thought he couldn't live without. That echo of the past? It was still there, but it was getting a lot quieter.
And this really gets to the heart of it. The healing wasn't some big, single event. There was no giant epiphany. It was happening in all the small, quiet, everyday moments.
Now, check this out, because this shows how it really happened. It wasn't about big, grand gestures. It was actually about subtraction. It wasn't about what he did, but what he stopped doing. He stopped going to their old cafe every single day. He stopped constantly checking his phone for a message he knew wasn't coming. And eventually, he stopped playing that awful what-if game in his head.
Okay, so let's move on to the next chapter. Because after all that quiet work, something new finally had the space to grow. He met Maya, and it was just different.
And this comparison is just perfect. His old love was absolutely real, but it was tangled up in confusion and overthinking and this constant fear of losing it all. His new love with Maya, it was also real, and it was built on comfort and honesty and a kind of beautiful simplicity. It wasn't about trying to fix something broken, it was about building something totally new.
And Maya's attitude was just so important here. She got it. She knew that everyone comes with a past. There was no judgment, no pressure for him to pretend his history didn't exist. And that simple acceptance, it was like the final piece of the puzzle that let him move forward without being stuck in the past.
And then comes the moment that feels like the final exam. Just a totally ordinary day, on a busy street, when the past decided to walk right back into his present.
It just happened on a completely normal day.
When time for him just kind of stood still. Because right there, across the street, he saw her. Just standing there, laughing with someone new. A sight that maybe a year ago would have completely wrecked him. So this is it, isn't it? The big moment of truth. After all that time, all that quiet healing, what was he actually feeling right then? And the answer was, honestly, pretty surprising. The very first thing he noticed was what wasn't there. That familiar ache, it just wasn't there.
You know that heavy feeling in your chest? The one he'd carried around for so long?
It was gone. And in its place was something he never would have expected. Just peace. He saw she was okay, and in that moment, he realized that he was okay too. They were just on different paths now, and that was all right.
So what's the big takeaway from Ayaan's journey? What's the real lesson he learned in all this process of letting go? You know, we're so conditioned by movies and stories to think the happy ending means they get back together. But this story just turns that whole idea on its head.
The real win, the true happy ending, was an internal one. It was his ability to walk away from that moment, not with sadness, but with a real smile and a light heart, ready to just keep going on his own journey.
Which leads to the big question, right? If it wasn't meant to last forever, what was the point of all that love and all that pain that came with it? Why even go through it?
And here's the answer, and it's so powerful. Because the love was real, and it absolutely mattered. It teaches us this incredible lesson. Some people are not your forever. They're your lesson,
so you can find it.